17 horses here. 16 are retired race horses. One is a quarter horse who lives here and he helps keep the racehorse in line. Walk around. Down in the corner. This is Roaring Lion. He's 16 years old now. He was a micropoli horse. A lot of people know micropoli because he's one of the guys that sold vitamin water to Coke for a lot of money. And also he raced Uncle Mo. And Uncle Mo is pretty well known. But Leo, that's his barn name, is been here for quite a while. He's friendly, but he also likes the shade on a hot summer day. He also doesn't get treats because he colicked way too often. He's had colic surgery, so he doesn't get treats. If he'd come up here, I would have given him a handful of grain, but he's ready to hang out by himself now. So we can move on. And he comes all rustling.
Now I am going to stop just for a moment. I'm pretty sure everyone can hear me. I'm getting reports that I'm sideways, so I'm going to flip this around and then hopefully fix that for everybody. So hang on 1 minute.
Hey Leo, you're so handsome.
Okay, there we go. We're back and we even have a guest now.
Yep, so Leo decided to come over and thought the grain was a good idea. Now when he gets his grain in the morning, because of all his history of colicking, he gets it with some extra water in it. And when he gets his hay, he's got a tub over here with water and the hay sits next to it, and he dunks his hay in the water. So it just keeps everything moving through him, which is the whole year. Here you go, Leo. He's a good boy. I say that to all. You go on down to the horse on the left here. His name is King Kanji. He ran in the Preakness Stakes in 2011. Unfortunately, was hurt later that year, had a leg operation and was retired. He was owned by West Point Thoroughbreds and they support him here today. But in between, he ran into some problems because whoever he went with must have run into money trouble, this or that, and he ended up at an auction where a gentleman bought him, realized he'd had a leg operation and he wouldn't be able to ride him. And so he was outside the auction trying to sell him, and the only people to sell him to were kill buyers, headed for Canada. When a lady from Rosemary Farm, which is another rescue place for farm animals fairly near here, had $100 in her trailer. She bought him for $100, put him on the trailer, took him to her farm. He was a stallion at the time. She didn't do thoroughbreds, much less stallions. So a week later, he's here. The guys from West Point accompanied him up here, and they support him here today. And as a special thanks to Terry Finley and the rest of the guys at West Point, because they care about this guy. He was named after an IT person they had who had some major health problems. And when he was in the Preakness, his story was featured in the Preakness because the guy is named after King Conjurello, I think was his last name. And they would correct me on this if I'm wrong. But he unfortunately passed away before that Preakness because of his serious health problems. But he was apparently a popular guy. Everybody liked him, so they named this horse after him. And King Kanji now is here today. He has as much fun as any horse here. Big paddock all to himself. He romps and stomps. He chases muckers out. You name it. He enjoys himself. So we'll see if he's looking handsome today. Kanji. So he's a handsome guy. He's really nice. He is 12 years old. 12 years old. And he's been here for about 2 years now. And he just has the best time. So I'm not done yet. Look down. Call me in the morning. I usually back up from him a bit because he wants another treat. He'll start putting his foot on the fence, and we don't want him to do that. So, but he's quite the guy. And it's been cool the last few mornings, so he's romped that stomp pretty good. I mean, flat out, belly to the ground, up and down. So you'll see somebody down there picking up his horse book over there, and he'll arrive to meet them as quickly as he can. And of course, the poor person who is the mucking rake is headed out because he doesn't want to be there when Kanji's trying to stop. He's friendly. He doesn't dislike people. You can't get anything done when you're in there. It's in your face. And look at him. He's being so calm and quiet right now. It's like, Dan's lying. I wouldn't be that way. Okay. What I'm trying to do is find the horses that are outside. This time of day, sometimes they get in those run-in sheds because of the bugs and everything. We'll go here and get these guys out. Be nice. It's just me. This is Cool and Collective here. And this one is Watching Smokey. They get nippy with each other over treats. That's why I'm trying to be a little careful with them. Go ahead. Cool ran better than 80 races, won almost $700,000, and when he retired at Aqueduct, they had a party for him. He also was a micropole horse. Watch Him Smokey, you can see him get nippy now about the treat thing. Watch Him Smokey was a sprinter. Julie Kroon won a sprint stakes race on the West Coast. So I'm going to check their ages. Cool, I think, is 23. Yeah, Cool is 23. Smokey is 20. And they get along pretty well. We usually find a welt somewhere on Cool when we come out, but they're pals and they get along okay, and they do all right. Sometimes over treats it gets a little silly. But that's Smokey and Cool. Hey, Smoke. They're both very good with people. It's whether they're good with each other is the test. Louis. Slew's Brew. And behind him is his buddy Frankie. Frankie's actual name is This Hard Land. Frankie was owned by Lake Star Stable. Slew came over to us from Finger Lakes, where he'd been a stable pony for his trainer jockey at the end. These guys get along pretty well. Frankie's the boss because he's big. He's nice to us, but again, around treats sometimes they get a little nippy with each other. Frankie likes to tilt his head and look at you and make faces. And everything's all right. Very good. He's a good boy. Now the person who brought Slew in, not somebody I knew, but he had been stabled at Suffolk Downs, and they told me he was the last horse to come from Suffolk Downs and win a race in Saratoga. Well, I don't know which race or what year exactly. Yeah, Slew was 9 years old. He's the youngest guy here. 20 starts, 2, 4, and 4. One of them must have been at Saratoga. They're run-in shed. Big enough for 2. We either have one big one or 2 small ones, depending on how many horses we have. And Lake Star Stable kindly provided the money for the paddock. They had owned Frankie here in this hard land. And there are not too many better places for a thoroughbred to spend the rest of the year. You guys. This guy is liked now. Been here about 6 weeks. Two of our volunteers own him, and he had been living on a farm, and they got a call about 2 months ago that the farm was getting sold. So we happen to have an empty paddock, and they support him here. He is indeed a racehorse. He won the Gotham at Aqueduct in 2006, and he was trained part of his career by Kieran McLaughlin. I mean, everybody knows him. And he was actually a training partner more than once for Invasor, who was Horse of the Year back in, I'm guessing, in 2007, something like that. So he was able to get around the track pretty quick. But as he got older and started dropping down through the ranks, they kept notification coming on him. And when they had a chance, they bought him and retired him. And then he had been at the other farm for about 10 years. Now he's here, and again, it's like winning the lottery if you're an ex-racehorse. Here you go, buddy. Is that good? He's a complete sweetheart.
Now, Dan, we did get a question, and I know you'll know the answer because I was talking about it with another lovely lady before. As far as fly treatment goes, what do you guys do here for them?
A lot of times this time of year, we're getting them with fly spray every morning, and some of them have fly masks. Today hasn't been so exceedingly awful because it's been breezy and it's a little, not quite as hot as it had been. So I don't think any of them have fly masks on today. And because it's supposed to rain tomorrow, we thought we wouldn't leave them on. They have fly masks, and we give them fly spray. And if the farrier's here, we hit them all with fly spray then too. So at least in the fly season. A lot of times when they run into their run-in sheds, it's to get away from flies. They can get in there and be safer, lose some of the bugs. Right, Nancy? Yeah. It looks like there's no one down here, so we'll have to find out who's ready to say hello. One of them is super famous, so let's go there first. This is the lower end of the whole place. It's shady down here, and we got the trees, we got more shade. It's pretty nice down here. And you can see from the sign here that a fellow named Zippy Chippy lives here with his friend Red down south. I'll see if I can get them out and tell you more about Zippy. This is obviously red down south. He was a turfer. He won about 116,000. He's 19 years old now. He is a super friend of Zippy Chippy. Here's Zippy. Zippy's 29, world famous, perhaps for the wrong reason. Got it? Okay. You didn't. Making a monkey out of me, Zippy. Got it? What do you do? Get it? Okay. Make sure you got it. Zippy is the famous one. Zippy raced 100 times and never won a race. And he's been here for, I think, close to 10 years now. He's 29. He was getting, toward the end of his career, he's getting appearance fees at the North End Fair and places like that. If he'd ever won a race, then it would have wrecked everything. But we also have a cool book in the gift shop written by a humorist from Canada, William Thomas. That's for the grown-ups. We have a cartoon book in the gift shop about Zippy as well. And we even came across, we can't have it for sale because we can't get enough of any of them, really. We got a cartoon book a comic from the Netherlands, Zippy Chippy story. All in Dutch for those of you who read Dutch. But he's famous. More people, I think, come from around the world or around the country to see him than anybody else, even though we have a couple big winners, which we have yet to visit today. Are you guys? He and Red are the best. This is the best pairing. They're the best friends we have here. Red is 10 years younger. He kind of looks out for Zippy. Helps take care of him. Make sure he follows him around, puts him in the shed at night and all that. He's a good guy. He's really good. No, I didn't. No extra mints today. You're killing me here. Famous pair, these two. We have a decal for cars and logo, and it's got their picture nose to nose on it. I'll wait, you guys. I'll see you later. I'm getting in trouble because I'm low on treats. Let's see what we got. You're gonna make me walk over there too, aren't you? Bull. Think about it. In here we have B Bullish. He was a micropole horse also. He won 1.1 million on the track. And he, towards the end of his career, he wasn't owned by Mike, but Mike claimed him when he won his last race specifically to retire him. So he is a really neat guy. When he got here, his ability to get accustomed to the place was tough. He is in with a horse named Patrick. Patrick is a quarter horse by one of our volunteers. There's Patrick. Nose out there in gold. And Patrick has a big wide butt, and Bull can't shove him around. So they came to an understanding, I'd say, within 30 minutes of being together. Patrick is the boss. Patrick's 33, and Bull, I think, is 15 or 16, if I remember correctly. Let's do them together. You'll notice they have two run-in sheds. Big deal. They always go in the same one together. Not even room enough to turn around. But they're pals, and that's the way it is. And they're not coming over for one lousy carrot and one lousy mint from the looks of it. But we can leave where they are. In there to get away from the bugs again. I've been here all day. I can watch it for hours. It's terrible. little bit of a walk to get to the other guys, but we got a way to go that will help us short. See ya. If I had a good camera right now, I'd get that picture right. This time of the afternoon, it's a little slow for them. Our regular tours on Friday, Saturday end at 1. So by this time, they usually want to be inside hanging out, getting away from the bugs. They'll get fed again about 3:30 or 4. We're cut up here. I'm sure you can see that this is a great place to spend some. Kanji again. This morning when I came down and saw one more thing to pick up in here with my poop basket, it was about 30 feet out. He was way up there, and he was on me before I could get anywhere. So I said, I can either pick it up here, or I can step outside the fence and talk to him. So I stepped outside the fence and talked to him, because when he's in there, and if you're in there with him, he might want to nibble on the handle of my rake, which is okay with me, and I can pet him on the neck, but I can't pick up anything, because that's the way it is. He's friendly, and he's intrusive, and that we're all crazy about it. So I ended up talking to him over here while another person stayed over there and raked up the hay that was left. So when I talked to him over here, I let him chew on the rake, and I scratch his neck and all that. And he might come over now, but maybe not. Yeah, he's on the way. And I've seen people run out of here a lot faster than I did. So because he's just like in your face, basically. Come on, Conj. There, I'll give you the tiniest little bit of this. How you doing? You know, everybody's seen you twice today. He's a good guy. Yeah, you can walk with us. It's okay. It may be funny, but I think we're all a little crazier about the ones that are a little nuttier. No offense, Kanji. Hey, Will. Good left, William. Okay. I can go over and get him, but this is Will's way.
Oh.
And he's coming over here. You might want to back up a tiny bit. Will's way won the Travers Stakes in 1996 and the Whitney in 1997. He's 27 now. He was, and I tell everybody this on the tours, when he was racing, he was known for two things. He's very fast. You can watch his, I've Googled his Whitney 1997 on YouTube. I recommend people do that. and he bit everybody he could reach. So when he raced, they put a semicircle of traffic cones in front of his stall so nobody would walk too close to it because he'd be waiting for you. But he's 27 now, and he has other things going on. Here, buddy. Come here. I'm not gonna be able to reach that, am I? I'm out of minutes too. Here. And so he's still that way, except got it. Finish that. Little goop in his eye, so we can hear it. He's calmer. He's nicer. 5 years ago he wasn't. So we always caution everyone, and because he's just so famous for biting people. And I'm in and out with him. I muck his paddock, so I'm in with him 6 mornings a week. And I'd like to say we have an understanding, but I remain alert at all times when I'm in there. I also feed him before I get in, and he's a slow eater. But he's a good guy. He's a star. He's the oldest. He's the oldest living Travers winner. He's handsome too. We think the world of this guy. We give him extra food. He gets beef pulp. He gets amplified. He gets regular grain. We chop his hay for him. Everything we can do to make sure he's getting enough nutrition.
So there was a question about Zippy Chippy, and I think it's pretty relevant to Will's way as well. What do you do with the older horses, the ones at this end sort of the age spectrum, to keep them extra healthy, if you will?
Pretty much everything we can think of. Zippy also gets the extra food, the beef pulp and so on. All 17 horses here, each one of them gets looked at every day. So if they got a nip or a cut or anything like that from another horse, or a bug bite that swells up, you name it, we're on top of doing minimal doctoring here. The folks at Rood and Riddle handle the vet work for us. They come out for shots and things like that. And some of them have had to go down there occasionally for 1 or 2 or 3 days. But that's it for the old guys. You just try to you watch them. You're looking at them all the time. You make sure they get the extra food they need, and try to take real good care of them. and Will he's just, everybody here is afraid of him, but in all honesty, I mean, a few people are, because there's a few people who are in. We get him now. We understand him, but he's such a treasure to have a guy like this here. He's the only stallion we have on the farm. He had 171 foals, and his daddy was easy goer. I've talked you up enough. He might follow us down here. So his buddy may come over here. They hang out together sometimes. Tiniest little bit, right? A couple left, you know. Got some extra minutes? I'm running out. We have Will's Way here, and up on top of the hill we have Cosmonaut and Commentator. And the three of them, in terms of the races they won, like having 3 national treasures. I liken it to the Irish National Stud outside of Dublin. They have a section, Geldies, called Living Legends. And we have Living Legends also. So it's a thrill to be hanging around with this guy all the time. And Mama's bringing us another minute. But Will's doing well. Teeth aren't so good anymore. The bugs are making him a little nutty today, but they're not as bad as they were on those hot, humid days. When I give a tour, people always ask me why the horse is stamping. Is he mad at me? No, he's trying to knock the gnats off his ankles. In winter, not a problem. Right now, it's kind of a problem. Here's our mid truck. Full pops coming here. This is Joanne Pepper, owns the whole place, takes care of everybody.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here.
Takes good care of the volunteers. Takes better care of the horses. And Connie, who's a photographer at the track for the special. When they're racing, when people can go in. You're welcome.
Sorry, we have such a muddy.
Oh no. I think the people love it.
That's natural here.
"27 years old. Still in this as well, bite your head off. Tell everybody I'm in there 6 mornings a week, but I am alone.
You live in the moment.
Okay, we'll go see if we can get Mr. Cowboy out of his shop.
Maybe with the whole keg up there.
Wait, Mr. Cowboy, he's 11. He was born here. When he was born, he wasn't breathing. Joanne gave him mouth-to-nose respiration. Got him breathing. Then he wouldn't stand up and go after his mother's milk, so they fed him with a bottle for I don't know how many days. And he ended up winning an allowance race at Saratoga. Let's see if we can influence him to come out. If I can't, he might at least look out his door. I got him in.
There's an array of toys. On a cooler day, you would be playing with them all.
That's it. You got the whole jar.
Oh, the bugs are horrible today.
Yeah, we got hot in the afternoon. That was good. That is Mr. Cowboy. He's a nice guy. He likes to get his back scratched. Maybe not this minute, but he's above. Why not?
Maybe that just throws them off a little.
There you go. Even better.
Yeah, like that.
He loved his phone. When he went to Aiken to train, he even took the phone.
Oh my goodness. Well, he loves that too, it looks like.
Oh, God,
Yeah.
yeah.
And they'll go roll in the mud for you.
Oh, of course.
That would be mine. Oh, Cowboy. Now you got it made.
All right, do me next.
He's wearing his drink out of the hall, but roll. It's not. Okay,
Bring me in,
go roll
Cowboy.
in the mud.
This is the best part about it.
Wrong spot.
That would be so likely.
We'll go get the fly spray.
Oh.
No,
Oh,
that's it. I've had it.
well. There it goes.
Take it out.
Out of the bug.
All right, we'll leave him all wet and go up the hill to see the.
We won't be
The
racing him
laughter.
up the hill today.
No, Cowboy does race the little kids up the hill.
Oh my God.
You come here, run up there with treats, and he'll follow them all the way up or down. This has been in existence for a little over 10 years now. Michael Owen, my old friends down in Kentucky. Bobby Frankel had unfortunately passed away, but had left money to old friends, and they used that to get this place started. Joanne's husband, Mark, built every structure you see here.
Oh,
Mr. C. Looky, looky. Yeah, we can hit you with another one. Come all the way up, though. Good job. Good job. He's a sweetheart. He really is. Fun to be around. Big. Very handsome. Okay, so we jokingly call up here this little section here Millionaires Row. But that's what it is, really. In this run-in shot on the right is Cosmonaut. Now, he was a turf runner. He won about 1.4 million. Ran in all the biggies, ran in the Arlington Million, other big turf races. Usually finished somewhere between first and fourth. And his sire is Lemon Drop Kid. Here, buddy. This guy's cool. When he raced, his entire body was the color of his lower legs. So he's turned into a gray, white kind of guy as he got older. He's 18 now. What do you think? Serious turf runner. He's been here for 2 years. Is that all right with those? You like those mints? But yeah, his entire body was the color of his lower legs. If you saw a picture of him when he was racing and compared it to him now, you'd wonder if it was the same horse. What do you do? Where'd you put the other ones? Where'd you put them? Last piece. Pretty good, huh? We'll do the carrot first. You have to crunch that one good, all right? You got it. Now, he was a stallion when he got here. He was gelded afterwards. He had some problems. And he's also had some sinus surgery. So he's one who's had some medical treatment that's a little more serious than some since he's been here. But he also went through a stage where he was suddenly acting pretty studdy, even though he was not a stud anymore, or a stallion, where he would suddenly squeal and it sounded like he was afraid and this and that. So we just had just a few people who then would go in and clean out his place. And we just did the basically a little bit like Cesar Millan, the dog guy, dog whisperer. No touch, no talk, no eye contact. And he's gotten through all that fine. And unless he remembers something in future years, he should be okay from this point on. But he enjoys it up here. He likes it. He uses most of the paddock. Doesn't do a whole lot of running around. Besides that, he's next to another millionaire. Double millionaire. This is Commentator. Commentator, and I think a lot of people watching this today might realize who he was. He won the Whitney at Saratoga twice, 2005 and 2008. Nick Zito trained him. Owned by Tracy Farmer, who also owned Sir Winston, who won the Belmont 2 years ago, I think it was. And Commentator in 2008 was probably the fastest horse in the country. Now, he's had some hoof problems or foot problems his entire career and his entire life. So he actually has glue-on shoes on his front feet to try to, and some padding in between the shoe and the foot, the hoof, to help keep his coffin bones in the right position so that he's safer and able to get around better and feels better. And he does. He romps around a little bit now, whereas if he didn't have those shoes on, I think he'd be experiencing some pain. So because of that, we also don't give him anything with sugar in it, so I'm forced to give him the last handful of grain that I brought around. He likes that. There you go, Katie. Pretty good? You betcha. So these two guys, too, along with Will, I mean, it's a pleasure to have them here. It's like having rock stars that you get to talk to, every day. And they're good up here. Commentator likes the place, enjoys it up here, likes it up on the hill. He likes being by himself. We did have him in with another one for a while, but this is his preference. And despite the fact that he won $2.2 million, and I'm ready to sweat him, he's never told me where he buried the money. So as soon as he lets me know, I'll keep it a secret. Right, Tater? Tater was at the Kentucky Old Friends for a while, but he's a New York bred. And he should belong back up here, so they had him come back up here, and it's been good for him. A lot of people do come to see him. That pretty much concludes our tour. Did your people there have any further questions as you went along that I can answer?
I did receive one about nicknames.
Okay.
Any nicknames for these guys? I'm sure there's a lot.
Commentator's easier. That's Tater.
Okay.
Cosmonaut doesn't really have one. Will's Way, we always called him Will, but I call him William because I think he likes to be treated with respect. Of course, Roaring Lion is Leo. So a few of them have nicknames like that. This Hard Land, his barn name was Frankie originally. Some of them were, in one way or another, we're still trying to think of a good nickname for him. But for the most part, I'd say we probably use their track names.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll say goodbye to Joanne and Connie. Goodbye. We'll say goodbye to Dan. All right. And thank you to everyone who is on the Zoom today. We will have the recorded portion of it ready to go sometime next week. Okay.
Then